what's the most important thing to you? Think about what it would be. Or maybe the 2 most important things, or maybe the 7 most important things to you. I bet if you're thinking about that question, the answer wasn't old tinfoil, pieces of cardboard, empty coffee cans. Those probably didn't make your list, but they're very important in the book, The 7 Most Important Things. Most Important Thing, rather, by Shelley Pearsall. Now, this is a book that I started out with and I was kind of liking it, but I ended up really loving this story. This is a book about a boy named Arthur. It takes place in the 1960s, and I kind of wish it didn't because, you know, I don't like historical fiction always, and there's a reason why it had to take place then, but story-wise, it really could be set at any time. It could be set modern day with no problem. So Arthur is in juvie because he was walking around one day and he saw the local junk man and he picked up a rock and threw it at the guy's head. Now, there's a reason why. Arthur isn't a bad boy. There's a specific reason why, because the junk man was wearing Arthur's father's hat, and his father has just recently died, and Arthur isn't dealing with that very well. And when he saw that the junk man was wearing his dad's hat, he didn't mean to, he just picked it up and threw it. So the judge is not feeling lenient about this at all, and the judge is definitely going to sentence Arthur to some kind of time in prison, but the junk man himself, James Hampton, speaks to the judge and asks for a compromise of some kind. And so Arthur gets some probation working for the junk man. Well, the first day he shows up at this old garage that he can't find for a couple of hours because it's back behind another place, he finds a note on the door saying, "Go collect the 7 most important things," some of those things that I just talked to you about. Now he has to become the junk man. So he goes around the neighborhood, and one of the things he's supposed to find is light bulbs. Well, he can't find light bulbs in the junk, but he does find an old lamp, and, you know, if you need a light bulb, then a lamp would be even better, right? Wrong. The next week he gets called by his probation officer, who tells him he is to follow directions to the letter, and that if she needs to speak to him again, he's in big trouble. So he goes about finding the things he has to find. And he doesn't know why, but one day, finally, he meets up with James Hampton, and he sees that he's building in this garage this beautiful piece of art from all of these pieces of trash. And he tells Arthur that he's building heaven, which is much harder than hell, because there's a lot of artistic depictions of hell, but it's hard to build heaven. And this piece of work is huge. It's thrones, it's stars, it's everything, and Arthur becomes taken with it, especially after Mr. Hampton, once he gets to know him a little bit better, after Mr. Hampton dies from a long-term illness. And now his entire life's work, or at least his most recent life's work, is in danger of being destroyed or just thrown away by people who don't understand. And it's up to Arthur and his good friend to try to save it. Now, there's a picture at the back of the book about this art because, and this is why it had to take place at this time period, because although it's fictional, it's based on a real folk artist, James Hampton, and his work is on display in the Smithsonian, part of this piece of work, because it's huge. They can't display all of it. And I swear I've seen it before, but now I have to go back and look again, because maybe I haven't, or at least I have to see it again now with this new knowledge. I wish that the picture of the artwork in the book was better, because it's black and white, and it's really hard to see it, so I wish they had invested in a better picture for that. But read this book, The 7th Most Important Thing. It's great. The characters grow. The secondary characters are great, too. There's Groovy Jim, who runs this tattoo parlor right in front of where the artwork is being made. There's Arthur's very good friend. Well, he's not his good friend at first, but they become good friends. All the secondary characters are well drawn as well. It draws you in, and it doesn't make you think historical fiction. If, like me, that's not your thing. It's just a great piece of fiction. So think about what's important to you and why it's important to you, and then read The 7th Most Important Thing to see why those things are important.